Whether it's a loved one asking you to help them get a loan or a parent co-signing for a child's first credit card or car, on the surface, it sounds like an act of kindness. But before you put your name on that dotted line, you need to understand what you're really signing up for. Hi, I'm attorney Lee M. Perlman, a consumer bankruptcy attorney. Today, I want to talk to you about something that comes up more often than you think, being a cosigner. When you cosign for somebody, you're not just vouching for them, you're legally obligating yourself to pay for the entire debt in the event they can't pay. To lenders, a cosigner gives them a second person to go after. You are just as liable as the borrower. That means that if the other person misses payments or happens to default, creditors won't hesitate to come after you and your credit, your wages, your bank accounts. They could all be on the line. Even if a borrower is making payments and they're late, not defaulting, your credit could still take a hit. And unfortunately, you may not even know it until it's too late. In my practice, I regularly see, sometimes every week, situations where people co-sign for other people. A client can co-sign for a child who later loses their job and can't make the payments. Just like situations where someone may co-sign for a boyfriend or a girlfriend and that relationship deteriorates and they're stuck with the whole loan. Or maybe a client co-signs a private student loan for a family member only to discover years later their retirement is at risk because they didn't make the payments. It's really heartbreaking because almost all these situations start with good intentions. But the financial consequences for being a cosigner can really last for years. Here's another situation that's very common that people don't understand. Even if you file for bankruptcy, the cosigner may still be responsible. In Chapter 7 bankruptcy, you may or could be released from the liability, but the creditor can still go after the primary borrower. In a Chapter 13 setting, the automatic stay may protect cosigners, but only in some cases, and that's not a guarantee. And if they file for bankruptcy and you're the cosigner, you still could be on the hook unless it's a Chapter 13 where the co-debtor stay applies. In most cases, creditors really don't care who was supposed to pay. They know you signed for it and they're going to look to enforce that liability. Before agreeing to cosign, carefully ask yourself, am I prepared to take on this debt in full if necessary? Can I afford the payments without risking my own financial security and budget? And do I trust this person that I'm co-signing for to make every single payment on time for the entire length of the loan? If the answer to any of these questions is no, or maybe I'm not sure, then you really should think twice about being a cosigner. There are other ways to support someone financially that don't involve putting your assets and your credit on the line. We spoke earlier about how relationships can dissolve and cosigners can get stuck. Well, recently we had a case just like that where I represented an individual whose girlfriend became MIA on a large truck loan that he was dealing with. Once she was out of the picture, he was stuck with the entire balance of the loan, and we had to explore bankruptcy options to give him relief. If you're a cosigner and you're dealing with creditors from someone else's loan, understand that we can help ease that financial burden. Remember, reaching out to a bankruptcy attorney doesn't mean you're filing bankruptcy. It simply means you're trying to understand what your options are so you can make the best decision about your financial situation. We're here to help. Schedule your free initial consultation so that you can understand what rights and options you have as it relates to your cosigner situation.